Spoilers of the Damned.
Who you gonna call? Spoil busters.
Yeah, us. What?
Add a
We're here again.
sound at the end of that.
Sound off.
Welcome to the Spoilers of the Damned podcast. Last week we were talking about Pontypool, and this week we are talking about 1408. I decided we may as well put the spoiler at the start of the episode. That's a pretty good idea, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So we will be discussing 1408 once we get into it, the movie based on the Stephen King short story 1408. So if you haven't seen that film, we strongly recommend that you go away and listen to that. Listen, fuck's sake.
Yeah, just listen.
We strongly recommend that you go and watch that movie and then come back so that you don't have anything spoiled for yourself.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Come back, everyone. Come on. That's it. Come on. You two,
Has everybody had a good week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the problem I have is that I haven't really done anything horrific this week. You know, aside from all those murders.
Yeah, there's that, obviously.
All of those murders, as we always do, all the time.
All of them.
See, I took 1408 as a mission statement.
You were telling me what?
It's like, I need at least 1,500.
Oh my god, you were a very busy person. To quote Eddie Izzard, so your diary was like death, 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 afternoon tea, death, 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 dinner, death, death.
Sometimes I had double death.
Double death. You have to catch up. That's a big number to hit.
That's when you kind of sandwich in between each other. That's great. Chainsaw both at the same time works. It's fine.
Yeah, but I haven't really done anything horrific.
No, I haven't had a chance.
So, I was going to mention, because it's not often that I get to make a horror recommendation based around music, because we usually talk about movies and books and films and games. I've been listening to this new band. They're called Creeper, and nothing to do with Minecraft. Although if you try to search them, you will get a fucking million Minecraft videos.
Oh, of course.
They're a new band, they're English, and their debut album is coming out this week. I recommend anybody who's a fan of The Misfits or Alkaline Trio or My Chemical Romance, they check out Creeper, because basically all of those bands are based around kind of like horror symbols and tropes. They kind of have skulls and coffins and all that kind of stuff. I think The Misfits definitely were the kind of starting off point for that in terms of punk music anyway. But their first debut studio album is kind of a concept album, and it's very Twin Peaksy. It's kind of based around this idea of there's this missing girl and an investigator trying to find her.
Okay.
And all of their music videos that they've released so far for this album, I think there's like 3 of them, they're all tying into this concept. They feature the characters and what have you. So if you're into kind of horror and kind of like punk rock, I would recommend them.
Sounds quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, they kind of their symbol is this kind of this character that's like a Grim Reaper, and he pops up in their videos like sort of like intercut between scenes, kind of a like jump scare thing. Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
I've spent most of my
jump scares, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, but I spent most of my week while I was killing all those people listening to Creeper. So
in between,
bringing it back, I love it.
Yeah, I strongly recommend it.
So the album, is it Stranger? The album, The Stranger.
The album is the album is called Eternity in Your Arms or something like that.
That sounds comfy.
Studio album. Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, it's their first. They've done some EPs and stuff,
EPs,
but this is their first full length. I found out about them from a band called Trivium. The lead singer of Trivium. He kind of posts on Instagram a lot, and he did his top 10 albums of the year, and one of them was their EP. So,
that's what's the word? A great endorsement. Yeah, that's a good endorsement right there.
Yeah.
Actually, you mentioned musical horror just now, and we went through that, and it sparked my memory. I was like, wait a second, there's a game I want to talk about. No, I haven't played it myself, but I've seen it played. You don't really need to play it yourself to really get what's going on with the game itself. Has anyone here heard of a game called Thumper?
No. Is it like the hit sequel to Bambi the video game?
Yeah. Only this is a horror game.
Thumper.
But no,
Horror
it's called Thumper, and the genre is actually listed as rhythm, horror. It's a rhythm music game that has a very oppressive sort of horror like intensity to it. It's not like, say, playing Luminous, where you just chill out all the time, or everything's all pretty and shiny and everything's cool. This, I've seen it played, and it's just this constant throbbing boom, 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 boom. It sounds like death approaching all the time, and you run on a single track. You have to make turns and jumps and all these kinds of like things, but it's all based on the rhythm of the music in the game.
Whoa.
It's really interesting, and since you mentioned musical horror, I figured this is a great segue right into Thumper, because people need to know about Thumper.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it's not been on my radar. I mean, I've played games where your movement is dictated by the beat, kind of like that, like Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah, that was a great one. I love that one.
Yeah, but I've never played, because even then, although it uses horror imagery, you can't actually quite often get that kind of horror feel. But this sounds amazing. I can't believe I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, according to Wikipedia. That's weird. And PlayStation VR.
I don't have.
That's the Switch.
Also, Microsoft Windows, so you can probably get it on Steam. I'll go ahead and verify that as we're talking.
Wow. Okay. No, this is great. I don't think I've ever played a musical horror game.
Right.
Quite an interesting concept.
That's why it's stuck in my memory, because I think SGF was playing it. I might be wrong, but he was really enjoying it, and I thought it was pretty cool too. Where's the search bar? Oh, there it is. Yeah, Thumper is $20 right now on Steam.
Blimey.
So you can play it. Its overall user reviews are overwhelmingly positive. So there's that. Yeah, should definitely check that out. In fact, I might. No, I don't need to buy it right now. But you need to buy it for sure. But check it out on YouTube. Find somebody who's playing Thumper who will shut up while playing it. That's really important.
Especially for like a rhythm game. It's like the music's the main part. They don't tend to talk over it. I really like this game. Like the music's great. Yeah, shut up and let's listen to it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was playing Mortal Kombat while I've experienced that before. It's insane. Some people, like, everyone knows who listens to this podcast knows I'm a Let's Player, but I have watched an FF13 LP for a little bit, a short while, and he was doing a boss fight and talking about rage quitters on Mortal Kombat. Like, shut the fuck up. Talk about the game. Jesus.
I know the game's not that good, bro, but can you maybe just talk about what's going on? Like, this is the boss, and this does this, and it's how I'm going to be. So it's like, so what do you think of like biscuits, man? I mean, like, I really like biscuits. Chocolate digestives, Oreos, Shut up and talk about the game. And this is making like a bit, and it's the joke that the game is so boring that you have to talk about the things.
Right. And then they come out with a T-shirt about the Oreo joke, and
it's like, buy it, please. I need money. Please give me Patreon money
more
to do
Oreos.
I need more Oreos to make more jokes. They fuel my jokes.
Right.
Now that is true horror.
That is true horror. I mean, just think, like, no, seriously, there's, like, YouTube accounts out there, and like, I don't hate on YouTube accounts, really. There are a few people who I do hate, but I hate the individual, not the practice. But the people who they do their Let's Play thing or whatever, and they immediately go to merchandising without actually generating an audience first, without generating any kind of interest first, without, affirming their existence in YouTube, that kind of thing.
Or they like make it
this is the part where I don't tell you I've thought about T-shirts before I've even made my first video.
Motherfucker.
No, you can think about it all you like. It's just don't do it until you have a market.
Or make it a bit like some of the YouTubers I watched, like PBG and Space Amp. So they always like, even then when they're doing something that they have like a sponsor thing like Loot Crate, they always make a really funny like bit out of it.
Yeah.
Like with almost poking fun at the fact that they have product placement. They make it a joke. That's fun. When you do it like that, that's fun because it feels like you're not insulting your audience. And
it feels at least creative, like they did something with it.
It's like, I'm doing this for money. They're like, no, I'm going to make a bit of it. It's funny because people are just going to shit always. Oh no, people wouldn't. Yes, they would. Yeah, that is a bugbear of mine as well. Or when they just immediately beg for Patreon money.
Yeah, immediately beg for Patreon money. Exactly. One guy who's done like a great example of what you can do once you have the audience, because you have to get the audience, you have to deserve the audience, you have to give them something that they can't get somewhere else. All that stuff comes into play. Lazy Game Reviews, he recently sold socks with his face on them.
What?
They sold out.
What?
Yeah.
I've only just got into LGR, and I do like his content.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you can get socks with his face on it. Yeah.
Basically, he reviews all the games that I used to play on like my really, really rubbish family computer in the mid to late 90s, like Midtown Madness and.
Ah, nice. That were all really old PC games. Not really old, but old enough.
Big, big box ones, you know.
Those fucking big boxes. Look how big they are. Look, and there's a little CD.
Oh, I still have Final Fantasy VIII as a big box.
Wow, nice.
It's so pointless.
I kind of wish I knew that big boxes were going to phase out, because I would have loved to have collected them as they were instead of as DVD cases the way they come now.
Oh, don't get me wrong. They look awesome. The big boxes look awesome, but it's like, oh, cool. What's in this? Instruction manual and a jewel case. What?
Yes, it's like tiny. It's
Yeah.
inside.
At least with stuff like Ripper and Beyond. Is it Beyond a Killing Moon or Under a Killing Moon? Like they had loads of CDs, so they had to be big.
Mm.
That reminds me. I really need to play the rest of the Tex Murphy games. Shit. Anyway,
make a note. But yeah, so like just to close off that particular topic, it's like, you know, you can sell whatever you want. Just make sure that people want it first. You know, it's funny because I don't mind, you know, like naming LGR, SGF, all the people that I like to watch on YouTube, but I do have a hard time like labeling someone or using the name of somebody whom I don't agree with as an example, but I feel like I should, because it's a great example of what not to do. No, I'm not
Chris,
gonna do it.
put him on blast.
Put him on blast? All right. There's a guy named Jeffro826. Anyone know him?
Jeffro826.
Bastard.
Do you know him? Oh, I was about to say, dude, tell me stories. No.
Jeffro826.
No, he's a great example of what not to do on YouTube. And in fact, actually now I feel better after having said it, because if anyone listens to this who wants to do YouTube stuff, do exactly what that guy is not doing, and you'll probably do a better job. He starts putting up videos, and most of the videos are just fly-by-night stuff, recording, shouting, making jokes in an obnoxious fashion, because I'm assuming he figures that people will, you know, take the crazy humor, and it's really great. And then he immediately starts going into selling t-shirts with his logo on them before he even has like 1,000 subs or like that. And the thing that really bothered me, though, was when I started... cause I keep going back to him. He's a low-end YouTuber, and I keep thinking, man, you'll get it someday. I've been giving him advice. You'll get it someday. I went back to him once, and he was playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and he had really bad video quality. Like, it was 480p. It was dark somehow, and he just left it as it was, uploaded the next one the same quality, uploaded the next one same quality. I'm like, dude, you have to improve your quality, and you should probably erase the first 3 of these videos and improve them before re-uploading them. And he's like, nah, it'll be all right. It's like, no, if the first video of a series is bad, no one's going to watch the rest of it.
Yeah. It's like that's got to be frustrating if the potential's there as well.
Yeah.
You could, if you just cared more.
Yeah, and it bothers me a lot, because he's doing the same things that I'm doing, not quality-wise, but the same category, Let's Plays. And if someone watches that Let's Play, they're like, oh, Let's Plays are terrible. And it's like, yeah, if you watch the trash. You know? So.
No, I get that. I can fully understand that.
So that's the horror that I have experienced. To bring it back to topic, that's the horror that I experience on YouTube. Just like the overwhelming mountains of trash, and like the amidst the few shining jewels that are there.
Well, I hadn't really had any horrific experiences this week, but one of them was waiting for a game for my Nintendo Switch. It's scary,
right?
Because there's no fucking games for it except Zelda, which is sold out.
But
which I now own.
Zelda is also on the Wii U. You don't have to have a Switch for Zelda. You don't have to have a Switch.
Then you have to buy a Wii U.
You know?
Because my friend he talked me into buying a Switch, because I was kind of against it, and then was talking about. He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm getting one as well, so we'll make sure we both get games we can play. I'm like, sounds good. He's like, we want to play a new Zelda, right? Like, yeah. And ever since we were like high school, or even like younger than that, we played through all the Zeldas together, like all the ones from Ocarina of Time onwards. So it's like, yeah, we'll do that. It'll be really fun. It's like, yeah, that does sound good. Okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I bought one in the pretense of prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, you fucks. And I got it. I was like, it's a nice little system. It's a nice little console. It's small. It sits really nicely on my my cabinet. It looks really presentable. It's nice. The controller's okay. I couldn't buy Zelda because it was out of stock. So I was like, oh, what else is in stock? Bomberman? I'm not paying 50 quid for Bomberman.
No.
What else? 1-2 Switch? No, because
nope.
I'm not 4 years old.
Right.
Mario Kart 8. That's out on the 28th of April. So
I've heard people say that 1-2 Switch should be a pack-in.
Yeah,
it definitely should be a pack-in. I haven't seen a lot of it, but what I have seen of it, it's less content than Wii Sports.
Yeah, and Wii Sports, like,
wow.
console. How good was Wii Sports? Like, seriously, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was all I played for like the first week of having the Wii.
So good. It was so much fun. But anyway, so I was like, I'll check the store. So there's, to be fair, to their credit, there's a few things that I've got my eye on in the store. There's I Am Setsuna, which looks like an interesting throwback to old turn-based.
I know all about I Am Setsuna.
Oh, really?
Yes, I bought it.
Good or bad?
It's middle of the road, I guess. I mean, I don't want to give like a full review. I would pay $15 for it. I'd be satisfied with $15. But
Really?
as far as like anything more than that, no. And
Is
my
it a
short list
game
of reasons.
or an experience game?
It's a
Which
game.
game?
It's a game. Game.
Okay.
And my short list of reasons for that is one, the soundtrack, while beautiful and atmospheric at first, sounds like they just got one piano student to do the whole thing on one piano, including the battle music, including any boss fight music, all of it. Just piano stuff. It's well done piano stuff, but you get tired of the fucking piano after a while. The other thing is that while it touts Chrono Trigger's multi-tech system, being able to combine text with other party members to do different effects like fire and sword cut, fire sword. Spin cut. I don't mean to offend anyone. I know what I'm talking about with Chrono Trigger.
Oh God, no! He's a hardcore fan. I was like, he said it wrong.
Yeah, kill him.
Look, can I just say that guy who's filling in that comment down below? Please do still do that because then we will have a comment on one of our podcasts. So
and comment as well, so I can call you a fucking idiot.
Right on.
I'm the nice one. No,
the multi-tech system, it works pretty good for a little bit, but the problem is that each party member doesn't gain a static list of abilities. Instead, they have to equip items that give them abilities, and then those abilities can match up with other party members. But that happens so few times, you just forget you can do it at all. But at the point when you finally can do it, it's so overwhelmingly powerful that there's no skill to the game. I just blow through everything all the time. And it's also one of those things where you have to level up the artifact to level up the skill. And then when the skill levels up, it becomes a different skill. And it's just like, oh my god, please stop. I hate grinding so goddamn much.
So I'll wait for that to go on sale then.
And then the characters are very shallow and one-dimensional. Typical anime stuff. You have the kid who's really good at magic, but also very obnoxious Naruto style. Then you have Big Sword Dark Past. You also have...
Hello,
Big Sword Dark Past.
I'm a Big Sword Dark Past.
Then you have, a pure, innocent, peaceful girl who will control the world, whose life exists to save the world, that kind of nonsense. So if you've played, you've played like a Tales game, you've kind of played I Am Setsuna already.
Yeah. It's a remake of Symphonia.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought I was giving it benefit of the doubt stuff, but story-wise, characters-wise, it's like a remake of Tales of Symphonia. But Tales of Symphonia has 100 times more dialogue than I Am Setsuna does. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll wait for that to go on sale then.
Yeah, get it like it's $15 or $10. I mean, it's visually fun, but it didn't hold my attention too long.
Yeah, fair enough. What else was there? So there was that, and then. They've got like a few SNK games, or like Neo Geo games, which is quite nice. Like King of Fighters, Fighters Destiny, Metal Slug 3, Shock Troopers. So I bought Shock Troopers because that's a shitload of fun. Me and my friend played the crap out of that, and then I downloaded the only one that I was really interested in besides Bomberman, which I'll probably go when it's a lot cheaper because it's Bomberman, and I'm not paying like 45 quid for Bomberman.
Yeah.
Was they've made they kept it really quiet. They've made a I think it's a prequel to Blaster Master on the NES. Blaster Master's really
yeah, but you can get that on the 3DS right now.
Oh, can you get it on the 3DS as well?
That's what I heard. Let me go ahead and verify that too.
I didn't realise. I bought it. I like it looks good. It's like a proper 8-bit sequel. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm like, I want that. Oh, and they've got the complete edition of Shovel Knight and the prequel to Shovel Knight where he plays the Spectre Knight, I think. So there's stuff on there, but obviously I wanted to play Zelda, so I had to wait a while for Zelda.
Confirmed it's also on the 3DS for $10.
Oh, I think that's more than I paid actually.
Oh well, you got a deal.
Oh no, $10. Fuck, I'm thinking of pounds. $10. It's probably about the same price actually.
Yeah, 10 US. Last I checked, I don't remember the conversion rate for you guys.
It's not good.
So.
It's almost 1-1, which is scary considering. No offense, but it used to be sort of half a pound got to $1 whole dollar. Now it's much closer to like almost 90p equals $1 kind of thing.
Well,
it's not good. It's not good. But yeah, so that was my
talk about true economic horror, right?
Well, having said that, yeah, the exchange rate could well be 1408.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
Said it.
All right. We should probably talk about the thing.
Strode across several different tangents there to get to 1408.
Yeah.
Which Chris, you suggested, and before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for suggesting this because I can't believe I'd gone this long without actually watching this film because it's right up my alley.
You're gonna hear my chair shuffle, but I am bowing. You're very welcome. Okay. Now I'm sitting down again.
Yeah, I tell you, it's I think I'll let you. Obviously, we won't go too much into depth. I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I finally watched it. So yeah, I'm also very grateful that you recommended it to us because I don't know why I hadn't watched it before. It's one of those films that there's a lot of films that you just think I don't know why haven't I watched that.
Yeah,
I know I'll like it.
You look at them. Them on paper and you say, "Oh, these actors are involved. I like those. Good director. Okay, I like that. It's based on this, which I like." You think, well, why haven't I come across it? But yeah, it just managed to slip through your net sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thumper. I mean, I played lots of rhythm games, and I can't believe that's completely gone past me. So I'm glad that you pointed that one out as well.
Yeah, you're very welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
everyone who's listening to this as well, you're welcome. If you haven't seen it already, if you have seen it, fist bump. All right, I hope you heard that.
Ow, my face.
My face. Yeah, it was just a really great title. I don't even remember why I was recommended to. Why I was recommended to see it. I know there was a Silent Hill 4 connection, but I don't actively go after movies anymore. But anyway, I did watch it, and I loved every second of it. It was a great story. I remember it was you said it was a Stephen King. Was it a short story?
Yeah. And I'd just like to take a second. I'm sure that this is not going to be the first time we talk about Stephen King. On this podcast. He is my favourite author of all time. And having said that, I think I've only read 1408 once. It's a short story. If anyone's interested, it's in the compilation called Everything's Eventual. And I must have read it about 15 years ago when I was in secondary school. I basically went through a spate of buying all of his books secondhand from charity shops and reading them at lunchtime because I was that sort of like fat goth kid in the corner that didn't really, facing a Stephen King book while everybody else is playing football and leisure activities.
But they're all dead now, right?
Go away, conformitist.
1408 of them, right?
I just said it was conformitist. What's going on in my brain? Reboot.
But as far as I can remember, 1408 doesn't seem to share too much with the original story. Just basically the premise of the room, the premise that it's an evil fucking room, and the movie actually does a really good job. We'll get into talking about it, but the characterization and the sort of the personal things that the character sort of has happened to him based around his past, a lot of that is embellished, and sort of the movie gets a lot of credit for me for adding that stuff, because I don't think a lot of it is in the original story.
Right. So I remember like one of the inspirations for Stephen King making this particular story. Again, this is something I think Stephen King's thematically known for, taking something that's normal and making it scary. I guess, like with you have clowns that are normal and cool and make them scary. In this case, you have a hotel room, which, I mean, if you go to a hotel room by yourself, sometimes it's a relaxing, comfortable thing. Sometimes it's a sort of an anxiety building thing because you're still in somebody else's house and it's not yours, and everything is unfamiliar, and the TV just never has the right channels, or nothing's ever fucking on, and you have nowhere you can go. So it could be like an anxiety inducing experience as well. But he wrote that because of the whole like feeling of a normal hotel room. Why not make it fucking evil? You know? And that's a really cool like talent for someone to have, just like see normal things and make them twisted and evil. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does a lot of what if stuff. I've heard several interviews where he kind of goes, well, I got thinking about this thing, and then I thought, well, what if that guy's this, or what if that, and that's what he kind of does, and he kind of builds scenarios in his head based on that. Well, I mean, he's incredibly modest. He says quite often that these things just sort of come to him, and he's kind of like the guy writing it down. Basically, he's kind of overhearing the story, and he follows it. He's a great guy. I love him. He's cool guy. I owe him a lot. He influenced my creative writing style. He influenced all of the kind of a lot of the games that I play. I mean, there's Stephen King references in the original Silent Hill. And a lot of other adaptations of his work, I think, will probably feature quite heavily in our podcast going forward. We'll try and space them out.
No, but, I'm absolutely fine with that.
And I, from what I heard, 1408 was one of the good ones, and I totally agree. Actually, I think anything that they did add worked. So they took the original premise and kind of ran with it. Which sometimes is quite good for Stephen King. I mean, without going into too much detail, I definitely think that at some point... Oh my god!
The dogs, they ever come?
I think at some point we will cover The Mist, and The Mist has got a good ending, in my opinion. A better ending than the original story. I mean, Stephen King himself says he prefers the ending in the movie. But I can hear Matt's grunting, probably because... The Mist gives me the biggest misery boner when it comes to the ending.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people probably do not have misery boners, so
my problem stems with how it was handled.
Okay, well we can get into that. I mean, on the Mist podcast.
Yeah.
But
one day we'll do the
I
Mist.
Can see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, at least in terms of his own opinion, he prefers the ending. So.
Which is fine. He can be wrong as well.
So 1408,
yes.
plot-wise, from what I remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, about a guy who likes to investigate the paranormal on his own, I guess his free time.
Yeah.
No, not really. He turns it into a business. He's an author.
He's a writer, yeah.
Yeah, he writes about his experiences with the paranormal. And unfortunately, he doesn't experience anything with the actual paranormal, only with like tourist traps, tourist destinations, haunted houses that are reported to be haunted, actually don't have anything going on. He makes the practice of like staying the night in those houses and waiting for something to happen. I remember reading a long time ago, and I don't think it was ever voiced in the movie, but that he did it because, well, his daughter died of, I think, cancer or some other terminal disease, and he basically is checking out like paranormal stuff as a way to connect with the dead. Basically the only way he can connect with his daughter in that regard. But he doesn't really mention that in the movie. It's just sort of like a thing I read somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting side thing, but the thing that struck me the most is that he's incredibly kind of cynical and jaded about the whole thing. I mean, he self-confesses that he's never kind of encountered any kind of like movement or ghostly kind of activities. It's just kind of, he turns up, he writes his piece, he kind of at the start of the movie there's that great scene where he's going around the motel room. He's just there for business. They won't give him the keys because they want to tell him the story, and he's not really fussed. He just just give me the keys. Yeah, he goes up, he does his bits and pieces, he writes his bit, and he goes, and that's it. And it's kind of like by the books. I think it's good that they showed that he's very kind of like that. He's not easily moved or swayed or made to feel unsettled. So,
well, I agree as well. So I interrupted.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
It's funny, like what Chris was saying about, it's never said in the movie, but I picked up on that as well, and I realised the reason he's doing it is because he wants to find out if there is, because the whole time he's doing it, he is very cynical, but he also comes across as quite disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And because there's that scene obviously when, she asks where she's going. They say, "Oh no, you're going somewhere, and there's people there. We don't just blah blah blah." And because it's very early on when weird things start to happen in the apartment, like in the room, sorry. And it's when he turns around and there's mints on the pillow, and the toilet paper in the bathroom has been changed. His first reaction is really interesting because he gets the tape recorder and says, the dictaphone, and he says, "Oh, we got something's happened," and he gets excited because he thinks something's happened, but then there's that cynical side of his brain where he immediately says, "Aha, that means someone's in the room."
Yeah.
For a moment, he slightly loses himself and goes, "Yes, something's happening." But no, it's because someone's hiding in the closet. Oh, not in the closet, which means they're in the living room. Oh, there's no one in the living room. And he you can see, like, it's really subtle, and it just, shows
it is
that
subtle
because very good.
Yeah, I didn't manage to actually pick up on it, but now that you mention it, it does fit.
But I get the feeling that he's cynical and jaded because I think he's desperate for there to find proof that there is something, because then it means that his daughter didn't suffer for nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and he doesn't particularly believe in anything, so perhaps getting that confirmation would be, helpful.
More than enough, yeah. He just probably start going to church or whatever after that.
Exactly. And also because it's shown that there's that woman that brings the older book that wasn't a stupid haunted house book, and she said, "Oh, it's really good. Are you going to write anything like this again?" And he said, "No, I won't." And I realise it's not because he's become a hack that just makes loads of money off of these haunted house books, because he makes fucking nothing. They keep saying it's all discount shelves and it's not really selling much. And it's obviously because he is creative and he's a good writer, but he's so obsessed with trying to find something paranormal that it's almost like it's almost like he's lying to himself to carry on doing it. Because I make these and I make money. Like, don't really. It's because you're trying to prove there is an afterlife, so you can see your daughter again. And you want to know
that makes a lot of sense, because it's like when he gets the postcard, basically saying "Don't enter 1408," based around that hotel in New York. He kind of takes that as like, that is a bait. He's instantly on the hook, isn't he? He's researching. He's methodical. I initially thought that was just part of his kind of work ethic, but now that you mention it, that would have a kind of a dual purpose in that he was excited.
Yeah. It's like, oh, maybe this will be the one. And then when he's talking to Samuel Jackson, he says, "Oh, yeah, I know these many people have died," and then he gets one up on him and says, "Well, what about the people that died naturally?" And then immediately he's interested, like, really? Natural causes?
Yeah, because he thinks it's just going to be another routine thing, but perhaps that's because he's been to so many, and he's kind of given up hope of finding that connection.
Yeah, I think that's what it stems from. But I'm running the road of this, so sorry. I'm running away from it a bit.
Yeah. So he gets an invitation from the hotel called the Dolphin, I think.
Yeah. Yes, the Dolphin.
The Dolphin, and it says don't go to the room. So
of course you're gonna go.
So of course, yeah, I'm going to go to the room if he doesn't go. Someone's going to that room right away. And like they give him the same the same spiel, the same story. Oh yeah, it's an evil room, it's haunted, all that kind of stuff, and he's not interested. But I loved one that Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie. I think that's great.
Yeah,
I like seeing him whenever I see him. Mace Windu doing Star Wars, that kind of stuff. He's the reason.
I was watching. Sorry to interrupt, but I was watching the making of, or the behind the scenes. There's a behind the scenes on YouTube, and they said that the initial description of the character is nothing like Sam Jackson. But the reason they went with him is because if Sam Jackson is looking at you and saying, don't go in this room. It's bad. You believe him.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that's and now you say that, I can't think of a better person to fill that particular role. You know, I mean, if it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, I love the guy. That would just be charming and silly. Don't go to the room. Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it now. Yeah. Now, John Cusack.
Get in the helicopter instead. Anyway, or the chopper. Sorry. If you had like Robin Williams, it'd just be silly. Bless him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like no real AAA actors that would fill the role of "don't fucking go in the room" any better.
It's great. I love it. I love the dialogue. The whole scene with those two is just brilliant.
I think it was really good. Yeah,
and it's like they're all trying to one up each other, and also I like it when he's like, "Oh, did you believe there's a ghost in the room?" No, it's just fucking evil. It's like it's just evil. There's something there. And that's what scares me, because I don't know what it is. It's just the room itself is fucking evil.
Right, and they still have to clean the room. They still service the room. Yeah. They just never sell it. So there's always like somebody who's like watching somebody else in the room for the moment. They do the touch-ups and they get the fuck out of there, SWAT team style, because that's how he runs his fucking hotel. Because it's Samuel fucking Jackson.
Yeah, it's just like no more than like 10 or 20 minutes, isn't it? He's like no more than that, and that's you just get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that because he's just cranking up the tension, because it starts off, oh yeah, these people have died, and it's like, oh yeah, we have a procedure to make sure that we don't stay in there too long. Oh, and one time a woman did, and yeah, she cut her fucking eyes out or something.
Yeah. And she was laughing while she did it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like it's a story that's not just somebody died in the room one day and now they constantly haunt and knock things over and you can hear chilling whispers or whatever. No, this woman went in there and did something completely unreasonable to herself.
She was doing the job cleaning it. It was like, I'm gonna stab my eyes out. This is a good idea.
I'm tired of looking at this shit room. I'm gonna do something about it.
I hate my job.
So, of course, one of the best parts about that scene is that Sam L almost convinces John Cusack. You could see like the balance shifting finally in his favor. Sam's finally won, and then John's like, "Nah, fuck it, I'm going in anyway."
Because he even says when he gets into the room, he's like, he nearly convinced me. He's like, he actually nearly had me going for a second.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he goes into the room and like nothing happens for a good while. You know, this is the 10-20 minute period. And that he was talking about before when they clean the room, basically that passes, and like the air conditioning isn't working, so they get a maintenance guy to come up there and fix it, and he fixes it from the door threshold.
I love that dude.
He's like, any jackass can do that. Any dumbass, just touch it. Okay, and he's like, I'm done, I'm gone.
Yeah, no tip, nothing. He's like, I ain't taking your money. You're a dead man. Somehow that room's gonna curse the money or something. But yeah, like lots of like cool little things, and what was it? Yes, the setup for one of the best parts of the movie happens with the alarm clock. It's only just begun. Yeah.
I love that.
You love the Carpenters too?
Well, I just love the use of the song.
Is it the first or second time that it happens when he's drinking from the bottle and then he like nearly has like a panic attack and then he like chokes on it? Like that was like a good genuine reaction. I don't know how much of that was genuine.
Yeah.
Or if they said just play the scene, we'll just play it around him. So I like to imagine that's how they did it, because the reaction was so on point to how that's how I'd react if I turned something off and then just started playing again and I was taking a drink.
Right.
Then he falls out of the bed.
And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, because basically like the night passes on uneventful. He's still waiting for like blood to come out of the faucets or the typical stuff that you would imagine would happen. And I don't really remember what the first like event was.
I think it's he's by the window, and then
somebody with an axe shows up.
No, he's by the window. That's later on. He's by the window. I think he knocks his head. Like it slides down, bangs him on the head a bit. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then he turns around, and there's 2 mints left on the pillow. He's like, "That's weird. That's creepy."
And the toilet paper as well.
Yeah, because he pulls it out, and then he's like, "Aha, you must be in the cupboard." Oh, you're not in the cupboard. You must be in the living room. Oh, you're not in the main room. Aha, you are hiding in the closet. And there's no one in the closet.
Right. What would have I like to imagine what would have happened if he actually did find somebody? He's like, I got you, bitch. Pull him out, like, it's all your fault. I knew it. You're fucking with me. You know. And then credits roll after that, and that's the end of the movie.
I like the fact. I think the use, because it's really his film. Like John Cusack's. I mean, there's other people in it occasionally.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Castaway.
Yeah,
thing
it rides on him definitely.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that because he has the dictaphone, it gives him a reason to talk out loud.
It's true. That's so really good.
This is weird. Oh my god, what is happening? Like he's got a reason to be talking about and expressing how he's feeling.
It's a good story device, because if he was just talking to himself the whole time without that, it would feel weird.
It would feel really forced and really filmy, and then it takes you out of it a bit, doesn't it?
But it was also like a protection thing for him too, because he tells himself that we will not rattle, or we will not be shaken, or whatever adjective he uses. And I think that's really great, because like once you can take yourself out of the horror for even a moment, you know, by talking to yourself, affirming that you exist, affirming that you're in a problem situation that you have to focus head on, it does calm the senses. So I think it's a really good like script moment for that to even happen as a character device. I think it's really good.
Definitely.
But so like the night is filled with terrors. One of my favorite things is when he looks across the street and he sees himself in another apartment or another building, looking back at himself.
That was very Silent Hill 4.
Yeah.
I thought. Now that you mentioned that connection between the two pieces, it reminded me a lot of looking out through the window and seeing weird shit like heads falling down and
yeah.
And the decay of the room itself was very Silent Hill-ish as well.
Yeah.
And then there's that. I thought I don't know if I'm remember something, because I watched it quite recently, and there's a bit where he looks out the eye hole that's in the door. He looks out, and I'm pretty sure there's just like a human eye right up close to on the other side.
Yeah, I couldn't work out if that was just his eye or another eye. Yeah.
Because he was taking it quite well. I was like, that's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be even everything else would be like, that's weird.
Yeah, if we're getting onto like favourite bits of the kind of the haunting, as it were, I was watching it with my wife, and she had seen the movie before, and he, you know, the part where the wall is cracking and he decides he's going to try and make it to the next room across, and he counts the steps, and he thinks, okay, yeah, it's this many steps out. As he was getting out on the ledge, I was trying to guess what was going to happen, and I was saying, oh, I bet he kind of carries on going, he gets to another windowsill, and it's the same windowsill.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
And I was, and she said, no, it's much worse than that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he carries on, and then suddenly you see there's no other fucking windowsill. Yeah. And he gets back in, he runs straight to the map, and it's just like the room is enclosed with black. There's like nothing but this room.
Yeah, that was like something. So good. That was like something right out of Silent Hill 1 when you go to nowhere.
Yeah, and the map is just changed.
I mean, that did. There's one bit that happened just before he looks at the map, which is one of the things I didn't like, which was the use of the ghostly apparitions. I didn't like that. They looked really hokey.
Yeah.
Like the weird static effect they had. I was like,
yeah, it was a bit too clean.
Yeah, I was like, that looks weird. Why do they look like that? Like, I didn't mind them like showing the previous deaths and that, but it was just weird when they only had it was just like a couple of them they showed as well, the two jumping out of the window. But it was just this really weird, like almost black and white, but like TV filter effect, and it was just really strange. It was one of these few things I didn't like effects wise, but I liked they used quite a lot of practical effects at times as well. Like the room, like just looked like it just had a lot of fun destroying a room.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting you mentioned the TV effects of ghosts. It's not the first time I've seen something like that.
No, me neither.
I think in a show Supernatural, if anyone's watched that, it's a fun show to watch. But there's an episode that had a ghost girl. Real quick, it's about two brothers who hunt ghosts and demons and things. Anyway, there was an episode where there was a ghost girl on a movie set, and the ghost girl looked like a black and white TV program by herself, like just like the coloring and the effects they used for her. Also, it was the same girl that was in the Silent Hill 1 movie, so that was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've seen it there, and you just kind of see that effect when they do ghosts a lot of the times. It seems like they don't do a ghost like in Ghostbusters anymore. They do something that like goes with the snow of television, or that ambient glow of an old television just sort of playing in the background. I don't know why they do that, but it's kind of interesting that seems to be like a theme or style for ghosts in movies.
Yeah, it seems like like the last 10, 15 years that's been the case. It's really bizarre. I'm not quite. They must just think it looks creepy because of the static. I just think that seeing when you see them jump out the window, it'd be far more impactful if they just look like they were there.
Like a real person.
And this person's just jumping out.
Yeah,
it's far more creepy than
that's like true.
A person that looks like they belong in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, that is true though. If you think about it, because you imagine you're alone in the room, especially when you played off the scene of like trying to open each door and see where the guy's hiding, that did the turnover of the room. If it was a real person was just in there all of a sudden, and
like, where'd you come from?
Yeah, and she just like casually goes to the window and kills herself because god damn it, that room was fucking evil.
Yeah, oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, that would have been way more impactful. But either way, it still worked. It delivered the story well.
And it's like, you understand why they did it. And the other thing that it's like the person he sees in the room with him a couple of times, like that had the weird receding hairline and the military jacket on, it looked like that was just.
Are you talking about the guy in the vents?
No. When he's looking at himself across the other building, and he realizes it's
him.
Yeah. And this is that weird looking person that kind of looks like Clint Howard behind him. It's got like the weird, like almost like Doc Brown haircut.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does that that was a weird, like, was that in his head? Like, did he imagine someone looking like that? That was the one thing that confused me a bit, because they come up again one more time, and then he's just like okay. And it's not, I know that's not it's not the point, but I was like, why does that person look like that? That's a really strange design.
Yeah.
It's not particularly creepy, it's just kind of weird.
Like, it did look like somebody who would have been able to rent a room in the Dolphin.
You're like a homeless person. This is a bit strange. Well, how did you get in here?
Yeah.
He was attracted to the alcohol.
Yeah.
I think again, I didn't have many problems with it. I think the first half's better than the second half, because like the initial uneasiness, like when he first gets in there and there's like the slight weird things happening. You've got the 2 mints on the pillow, which is just a little creepy. The toilet roll being back as perfect again, and then there's one more when he's got the light and he's looking at all the blood stains and everything. Then he sits, he's in the bedroom, and then there's another thing there. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but I really liked the use of the camera angles where it felt like you were watching him. Like it was, it wasn't like set up like a film all the time.
It's building tension the whole time, and I think.
Sorry,
I'm just going to say I agree with you about the two halves thing. I mean, there are bits I liked in the second half, but I think the problem is when it's raising the ante, there reaches a point where the whole room is fucking destroyed, because like literally everything that can happen has happened.
Yeah.
So while it's kind of rooted in not completely bizarre, but just kind of like 1 foot in reality, 1 foot not, that it's kind of, that's the sweet spot. But sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. I was just saying, like, some of the use of the camera, like the way it was shot and framed, it felt like, because at times we were watching him through like the little slits in like the door frame. There was like the little glass separation between the door and like the rest of the room, and like you were watching him through like these little slits, so it felt like you were almost like spying on him, which made it feel really, really unsettling, which made me keep thinking something was going to happen. But then there's that one shot where I can't remember what he does, and then he sits down and he looks at and it's just a really simple thing, but there's just something really unsettling about it when he stands there and he sits there and he stares at the picture of the boat, like the painting of the boat, and it's just lopsided for some reason. There's something, it's the way it's just dark enough, and it's just something really creepy. Like things, it's not like big jump scares, because there's not really many jump scares in it at all. Maybe it's just like it's mainly the alarm clock. It's just there's something it's like creepier than something going rah, because then you've seen it. It's the fact that something, whether it's a room or an entity, keeps just moving things, and that's just really creepy. The idea that something is just fucking with you.
You know what would be pretty good, I think? Just real quick, very short point. Often in movies like this, you see the after effects of a thing being moved. It would be amazing if they did a movie like this where things were moving in front of him, like without regard to whether he's looking at them or not. You know,
and it's
yeah,
not in focus.
kind of corner of your eye stuff.
Yeah.
Did that painting just move? And it's not in focus. He's in focus because he's like talking to his dictaphone or something, and then maybe behind him, well out of really blurry, very out of focus. You can see the painting move, but you're not sure if your mind's just playing tricks on you. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be so good.
Did I just? I did think that when there's one point when the lights just go out and it's all red. I'm certain there was a flash of someone standing behind him. I saw like a face next to him, and again, if there was or wasn't, it was like a split second that was really creepy.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if it was just the film fucking with my head or not, because it was still at that stage of the film where it was a bit more subtle than the painting exploding into water and flooding the room, which was like, this is getting really strange.
Yeah, I am thoroughly unsettled here.
I'm like, huh. I did like when he, again, I'm just rambling, but it's when he goes out and he realises there's no other windows, so he goes back and he goes to the door and he looks through the hole and there's a wall there, and he turns around and the windows blocked up as well, which is like burn me alive. And then he goes into the other room and there's no window, and then he listens to the dictaphone back and he hears himself say, "There's no window in the bedroom." That's
strangely
weird.
There's no window. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? What's real? Am I real?
And I think
I'm
that
probably random.
boils down to my favourite thing about the movie is that, and I think it's the essence of the short story as well, so I think they managed to maintain it really well, is that 1408 is basically just fucking with you. And it will use everything that it can. It will use stuff from your past. It will use stuff from the people that it's killed. It will kind of like use them in scenarios as well, as kind of like scare tactics or as kind of like actors in a artificial reality. I just love the way that it fucks with your head.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Was it? We were talking on the chat earlier before we recorded the episode about how moving on a little bit in the plot, the moment where he wakes up and he believes that he's free from the room. Yeah.
Yes. The fake out.
Yeah, the fake
long
out.
Fake
because
out. That's a long fake out.
I was expecting a fake out. So the thing was, I feel, and I think you agree with me, Matt, that the length of that is just long enough to make you think, well, maybe this isn't a fake out.
Yes.
It's like the perfect amount of time.
Well, yeah, because it had been. I was like, that tells a good story. He had a near-death experience, and then he had this hallucination where he felt he was in a haunted room, and it helped him come to terms with past things, and he was ready to move on. You know, he's come to terms with the fact his daughter died, and they couldn't do anything about it, and he goes to see his dad, and you're like, okay, he's moving on, and then it all just goes to shit again.
Yeah, it just gets tore down so fast. That was my favorite part, because not only that, but the fact that he gets to see his daughter again for fucking real.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And then he gets to hold her for like 3 seconds, and then she falls apart in his arms again.
That was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Like, God damn it. Like, it's one of my favorite reasons for, one of my favorite parts of the movie is that it addresses horror not as a gore / physical pain thing.
Yeah, that's
it's
horror.
Pure spiritual, mental, abuse, basically, in this part.
Yeah.
Fear in that regard. And man, that's when it's only just begun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the point in time where like pretty shortly after that the room kind of resets and it goes, oh, you managed to survive the first hour, welcome to hour 2.
Yeah.
Have fun, shithead.
And you have no way to know that it'll ever end unless you kill yourself. And like the theory of the theme of the movie, the point of the movie, everything the story was trying to tell locks into place right at that point. And you're with John Cusack. You like, okay, this guy has got to find a way out of here. What can he possibly do? Like it's like at that point the lines of the war have been drawn, the battlefield has been set. It's going to be us versus them. We will not shake, we will not rattle, we will not roll. Anyway,
I feel like it was a bit foolish for me because I sort of thought, no matter what he has to endure, if he can just hold on until daybreak or whatever it is, the room will have to let him go. And then I sort of had that realization where, oh no, this is never going to end.
No.
Unless he kills himself.
Right. Like, he's no longer in that room. If a maid walked in to clean the room, she wouldn't find him there.
Nope. You know, one of my favourite moments is when it resets again. He's like, course it has. He kind of has that he's kind of fed up at that point. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, it's reset. The phone's ringing again. Cool, phone's ringing. And it's when he answers it, and it's basically going, go on, kill yourself, please.
Yeah. If you'd like to take our express checkout service.
He's like, fuck off, no. He's like, and I love it when he's like, I'm done being angry at you. I'm done shouting at you. I'm not going to do it, okay? It's like, fine. And the phone just starts to melt.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things I definitely remember from the original story. Is kind of like, I can't remember if the phone melts, but I remember there's someone on the phone who's literally saying like, 5, 6, 9, all your friends are dead. Everyone's dead. Like, on the phone. And I just love that total, like, what the fuckery of that.
And it's because the voice changes as well.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, yeah, the real psychological... It gets all the psychological elements right. And going back to when you're saying that it allows him to see his daughter again. And, again, John Cusack is a really good actor, and I wish he made more good films. I really do, but he's probably at that stage where he just does whatever he wants now because he's made his money. But he says one thing, and it came across so genuine and delivered so well. Was when he just said, I can't remember the exact way, but he said something like, please don't take her away twice.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take her away twice. You can't take her away from me twice. Like, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible. Which makes it all much better and more impactful. And then, obviously, he just gives no fucks by the end, and I think the whole thing's quite funny, the way he goes about it. It's like, no, I'm doing this.
I like that,
I'm burn you.
like, he whips open his laptop, and, like, all of a sudden, he's making a phone call to his wife, and it's not really him, it's the room portraying himself through the laptop, and confusing her and asking her to, come over here and, get a room at 1408 at the Dolphin, we'll talk about everything there, all that stuff, and, like, now he has to protect her, At first it was like, oh, this fucking room. Oh no, my daughter. Oh shit, there's somebody who's still alive who I have to protect from this fucking room. How do I do that?
Shit.
Oh yeah, mini Samuel L. Jackson told me about I forgot about that part. Yeah, there's a tiny Samuel L. Jackson part.
I love it when I even like the way they shoot it. Sweet, it looks like a miniature as well. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's a little tiny person in a little tiny house.
Yeah,
a little tiny room.
It was in the mini fridge, I think, right? It was like opening the mini fridge, and then Samuel L. Jackson's in there. I can't remember what he was saying though.
He's like, you are. He's like saying, I knew you. You know what you're here for. Blah 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 blah. And it's the way John Cusack proceeds to just punch and beat up the mini fridge. Is just great.
Yeah.
I want my drink.
Yeah.
He just slams the door. It's great.
But yeah, so
I
like,
won't lie.
The movie starts to continue on to its conclusion from that point.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just that's right. That's what we're going to talk about next. The endings. Because the ending basically follows after the conclusion there, and the ending that I got, like after John Cusack sets fire to the room using the alcohol he was given by Samuel L. Jackson in the beginning of the movie, which I thought was fucking genius. I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, burning sucks, but take the room with you, man. That's awesome. Yeah. What a great idea.
They'll have to get rid of it.
Yeah, they'll have to get rid of it entirely. But then my ending. And I guess it's the ending that was on the DVD release of the movie, was that he shows up, like he gets out of the hospital. They saved him before he got some serious burn damage because it's John Cusack and he looks fine. And he actually managed to record some of his daughter's voice on the tape recorder and plays it for his wife and like just gives her the look like, yeah, shit's
I love that
fucking
look, by the
real.
Yeah, that's the ending you both had.
I was telling you.
Interesting. That's not the ending I had.
Yeah, no, it's not the ending I had either. I've since seen that one on YouTube.
I need to watch them, but I know of them. But I didn't get that one. I got the.
In my research, I could find 3 kind of distinct endings, descriptions of them. The one I saw, the one that Chris is describing, and another one which I can't find on YouTube anywhere. So yeah, Chris, I think that is the original theatrical ending to the movie. But there's a kind of like a director's cut where the ending is pretty different. Have you seen it or heard of it?
Have I what?
Have you seen or heard of it? Because I mean, I've got a transcript here of basically what happens.
Yeah, I actually can't help at all with that because a friend of mine watched the movie. He had a different ending. He told me about it. That's how I learned there were other endings. But I've never actually watched them myself, and I don't remember the ending he told me, but he said he didn't like the ending at all, and I was like, well, the ending was fine. Tape recorder and the thing with the daughter. He's like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? Did you even watch the movie? Are you fucking lying to me right now? I don't take kindly to lies, man.
This is what I think I mentioned earlier, that my favorite thing about this movie, I don't think I particularly like any ending more than another one, but I like the fact that there are different endings because it kind of plays into that idea of 1408 fucking with people.
Oh.
You watched it and you recommended it to your friend, and then your friend watched it and had a completely different experience, and you're like, saying, fighting over it, like, what the hell? Because 1408 is still actively fucking with people.
That is, I've never thought of that. That's fucking amazing. Now,
it's kind of like this kind of metatextual twist. But at the ending that I think this is the ending you saw, Matt. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the ending we saw, I'll read out this little transcript. The original discarded ending had Mike dying in the fire, but happy to see the room destroyed, and then we cut to Mike's funeral. And Mr. Olin, Sam Jackson, walks up to the wife and the agent, or the editor, whatever he was. I just remember him as Monk, Tony Shalhoub.
Right.
Sam Jackson tries to give her a box of Mike's possessions, like kind of recovered from the fire, including the tape recorder. And he kind of says something along the lines of the room was destroyed and now it won't hurt anybody else. But basically... Tony Shalhoub says, can you not see this as a fucking funeral? Give us some space. So Sam Jackson goes back to his car with the bits and pieces, and he starts playing the tape, and he's kind of seeing this girl in the distance that kind of looks like it could be Mike's daughter. And he hears the same kind of tape. I think it's the same bits of dialogue that you hear in your ending. But then he has like this jump scare where he sees for a split second Mike, John Cusack, in the back, all burnt up, and kind of like almost doing him like a salute. I think it was like a salute. Yeah. And then it's like a jump scare, and then he's gone, and then he sees in the distance the daughter getting called over, and there's a dad with her, and it's kind of implying that Mike managed to destroy the room, and that's kind of like his like so long farewell to Sam Jackson. And then it kind of cuts back to the hotel room where it's all burnt out, but there's like a ghostly version of John Cusack, and he smokes a cigarette, and then it cuts. That's it. That's the end.
So like in the room he's still there.
Yeah, kind of like he's the last one.
Yeah, he hears his daughter calling daddy again, and he says he stands up and says something like, okay, all right then, and he just walks towards the door.
Yeah.
So almost like maybe he's just still stuck there. I don't know. But it was,
it was very ambiguous.
But I think that was supposed to be the original ending, but people said it was too depressing.
Yeah, that's what I read. And that's why it shows back up in the director's cut, because that's what they originally wanted. Yeah.
It's the default one on the director's cut and everything, which is like 6 minutes longer for some reason. I'm not sure.
But there is a third ending. This is the one that I can't find on YouTube. And in this one, John Cusack, I keep wanting to call him John Cusack instead of Mike. His character's name's Mike.
Yeah.
He dies in the fire, and apparently sort of Sam Jackson's seen talking to himself saying, well done, Enslin, well done. And instead of the funeral scene, it kind of shows his wife, Lily, and his agent sorting through Mike's effects in his wife's new home. And Sam says something along the lines of, "Well, at least he went out in a blaze," and she gives him a weird look.
Jesus Christ, dude!
Yeah, and then you know the section of the movie where he believes he's woken up and he writes the transcript for a novel of 1408, and he mails it to his agent or his editor, whatever you want to call him, Monk. It then shows him receiving that transcript in the post. So it's sort of like a did it happen, didn't it happen? Is this the room trying to live on somehow? Like reach out to more people.
Yeah.
And apparently, it kind of like the office door slams shut, and the final thing you hear is Mike's father saying, "As I was, you are. As I am, you will be," which is kind of prophetic and creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, although they share certain elements, they are three kind of distinct endings. I wish I could see that third one because it would be good to see it.
Yeah, that one seems like really creepy, and it's also just like a quick tangent. One of the things I liked about The Grudge so much is that like it reaches out after the first movie from the ancient Japanese house to the apartment complex and gets worse. So in that ending, the book would make it to Monk, and Monk would publish the book, and then all the people who are Mike Enslin copiers or people who do it on their own for whatever reason will just fill up that room.
Yep.
Assuming that Samuel L. Jackson can't talk them out of it at first. I'm sure about half of them will probably turn around.
Motherfucker set himself on fire.
He set himself on fire.
Come on.
Oh, because in our ending, it kind of he dies and then it's his funeral. I was joking with my wife saying, "Oh, Samuel L. Jackson just needs to walk past now and go, 'I told you.'"
I told him not to
and then,
do it.
like, literally, he like showed up like that the second after with that box of stuff.
Nice.
But unfortunately, he didn't say.
I'm glad that because at one point when he's crawling through the air vent, I thought
I
are they
love
doing
that
the
sequence,
Jacob's
by the
Ladder
way.
thing?
That was
And are they
proper
gonna-
fucking.
That was that was really good. That was very very Silent Hillish. I was a bit worried, like, are they going to do it where he died in the surfboarding incident, and then he's actually just been like, this is like hell, basically.
Yeah.
I was worried they were going to do that because they really could have easily done that.
Mm-hmm.
They really could have easily done it, but I'm glad they didn't because there was so much that happened leading up to it that just would make no sense in a film like that. Like him speaking to his publicist or whoever he was, Sam. If they were doing that, there's no reason to show him. If they're going to do that, just have him talking to him on the phone and you only hear his voice.
Yeah.
But they actually show him interacting with people, and it's like, that would be really shit if it did turn out that he was dead all along. So I'm kind of glad, although they do the whole he's destroyed the room kind of good ending, they still didn't cop out and just go, he's been dead all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Jacob's Ladder did that because it was a great movie, but
Oh,
we
it
don't
was
need to
for
keep
that,
doing that.
No, we don't.
So
Really don't.
Yeah,
But
apparently the reason why there are so few, quite a few endings to this is apparently to reflect the ambiguity of the original story. Apparently, good old Stevie left things quite open, so I think they kind of wanted to approach the movie in the same way.
yeah,
Kind of
He
have
likes
a
to do
choose your
that.
own adventure kind of style ending thing.
he does like to do it quite a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Mist is like that though.
man,
it's like-
The Mist.
And it ends.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Oh. I mean, it makes sense, like, from what I've heard in the story, because in the book, it's because the main character's writing it down like a journal, isn't it? He just runs out of a room and leaves it in a...
Yeah.
He just leaves it in a
Yeah.
motel, doesn't he? It's like, if you find it, good luck. If you're not dead, and we're all not dead by...
Yeah,
strange otherworldly
I would say
beings.
it's not just a Steve thing. That's a kind of like that's a trope of some of his influences, like Lovecraft, where it's the kind of the I'm writing this note now, and if it survives, my story must be
Fucking
told,
run.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of nice that kind of classical trope is still kind of can be done in a
yeah.
modern way.
Oh, no problem with it. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, well that was 1408.
Yeah,
And
it was.
Yeah,
it was a good
loved
movie. I
it.
think we covered most of what was going on. There wasn't a lot of like ambiguity to cover within the movie, like our previous movies were, like with Pontypool, and Resident Evil 7 wasn't a movie, but whatever. You know what I meant.
That's enough.
I will say, John Cusack and Samuel Jackson met up again to be in a Stephen King adaptation. It's a film called Cell, and I recommend you never watch it. It is shite.
I didn't even know, because I heard, because I haven't read the book, but I liked the premise that the phone signal was turning people crazy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was rumours they were going to make a film for a while, and Eli Roth was attached to it, and then it went very quiet. And it wasn't until I think last year where I was doing one of those things, and you go on Wikipedia, just look up one thing, and then you look up one other thing, and then you go down further and further into the rabbit hole, and suddenly you've got 12 tabs open, and you've got like sort of really obscure 1980s Italian horror for some reason. Again. And then I was like, The Cell? They find it? No, it can't be the Stephen King The Cell. Okay. Oh no, they actually made a film. Oh shit, Samuel Jackson, John Cusack. That's not bad. Look at the review aggregator. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
If you think that some of the endings on this were ambiguous, the ending to that is basically the writers went out to lunch. It was done.
Now, real quick, Tom, you said not to watch the movie. Now, is this delivered with the same delivery as not to go into the room at the Dolphin? Are you trying to get people to watch this movie now? Is that what
I enjoyed the original story. It was okay. It's not Stephen King's best. It was kind of like, I don't know.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah, so there's 60
works well
to
with
70
concepts.
out of 100. Not too bad. Just not too bad. But the adaptation changes things unnecessarily. Other things, it just kind of it adapts on in ways that don't really work. It's bizarre because you can see a lot of the elements that are in Cell here in 1408, and they work brilliantly. But when there are, you've got Samuel Jackson, you've got John Cusack in this movie 1408. They had tremendous kind of. I thought that scene with them kind of like at Loggerheads was they had real kind of
great.
chemistry.
Yeah,
And
I love that scene.
then when you go to Cell, it's like Cell is kind of limp and sparse, and it's not. I understand it's a different kind of story, but for so many similar elements to be there and it work out in a completely different way. Because although Cell is not one of Stephen King's best books, it could have been done a lot better than it was when it came to the adaptation.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with. We'll cover it, in future episodes, but I think that's always the problem with a lot of his adaptations. And also, I think because I really like him as a writer, and he's a really cool guy. He comes across as a really cool guy. I do think he's a writer that works really well with concepts, and he always has a really cool concept. And then, I'm not saying it always happens with all his stories, because there's a lot of really fucking good Stephen King stories, but sometimes he has a really cool concept, and he doesn't know what to do with it. Like The Stand, I love the first half of The Stand is brilliant, and then it should stop. It should really stop at a certain point. And I love the character of Randall Flagg because Randall Flagg's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it gets to that point where so this when he's describing the plague and it's just wiping, it's destroying civilization. Everyone's dying, but there's some people immune. But they have like a little community and they meet up. End there. Just end there. Give it like a little bit of some kind optimism. Like there is a chance of survival, and it goes on this strange, fantastical fight of good versus evil, and then they get saved by...
The Stand is very waffly.
And then second half of the book, it's like, and then they fight with good versus evil, and then God saves them. Just stop
yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm
stop.
a really big Stephen King fan, and this is going to sound awful considering I'm a really big Stephen King fan. But sometimes he just doesn't stick the landing. The original premise is very good, and then it will kind of devolve and deviate while he's kind of basically trying to work out what the ending is, and the ending sometimes is really not that satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, which is a shame because, but the thing is, like, everyone always harks on stuff like the Tommyknockers mean really silly, and all these other ones that have a really cool idea and not a very good payoff. But then they forget that he's written really, really fucking good stuff like Misery. Misery's brilliant.
Yeah, Misery, The Shawshank Redemption,
great.
The Green Mile.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
these are
Everyone
also
forgets he writes
things
those.
that have been, some of those have been adapted really well.
Yeah, Stand By Me. That's another one that everyone just goes, oh, he's a horror writer. Is he? He's just known. He's more known for it, but he writes a lot of other fiction as well.
Yeah, I think he writes good characters, Stephen King, and then quite often those characters will be in an interesting premise, but ultimately, it's then just a load of characters stood around in that premise, and there's no kind of end in sight as to what actually is going to happen.
I noticed about 2 Stephen King tropes in 1408. Main character is a writer, and he's an alcoholic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tick, tick.
And I know that in the short story he mentions drugs as well, so that's 3 in the book, in the short story, but only 2 in the film. So we got 2 of them. But he wasn't from Maine. He lived in LA, so we only got 2. It's good. Didn't get Maine. It didn't take place in Maine either.
Nice. So we're about 1 hour 13 into the podcast. We should probably talk about what we're going to talk about next time.
That's a good idea.
there's about 3 films that came to mind if I was going to pick one, so I needed to make a decision. I'll tell you what they are. There is 2 horror films in particular I saw not last year, the year before. One was at the cinema, one was at the British Film Festival. The first one, which I saw at the cinema, was a really, really, really good horror film called It Follows, which felt like it was clearly heavily inspired by the works of John Carpenter, just the way it's shot and the location. It's very John Carpenter-esque, and it's just genuinely really creepy, and it's got a really cool idea of this thing that is just coming for you, and it's going to kill you. And what's really creepy is it's in no rush. It's not those things. It's like Jason Voorhees chasing after you. It was just going to walk towards you at a nice stroll, because it knows it's going to get you eventually. That's creepy. So I can't really say any more than that without spoiling anything. But what I can say about it is the soundtrack is great, and it was, I can't remember the composer, but he did the soundtrack for Fez.
Okay.
And it's a really good soundtrack. Again, it feels very 80s-esque and John Carpenter-esque because it's all synth and all that. So I loved that. And then
Disasterpiece,
that's the one. It's a great soundtrack, and the movie's brilliant as well. The other one was a very low-budget independent Australian horror film called Observance, which is genuinely very, very creepy at moments. About a man that's he's just employed to go into this apartment and watch this woman in the building opposite, just take notes of what she's doing, take photos, and just watch her. And then really weird, unsettling things start to happen, and you're not sure if he's hallucinating or if there's just something else going on. So there's that one.
Okay. Well, flip a coin then. Which one should we watch?
Yeah. Alright, okay, because the other one is... Oh, shit. Well, there's my coin. It's dropped. Because I had 3, but 3 can wait for another time.
Yes.
This gives me an excuse to watch one of these again. We'll go Heads, It Follows, Tails, Observance. And we have Heads, which was Follow.
I was like, which one was that?
Like,
now you have to make a choice again.
It was Heads, It Follows, Tails, Observance. Wasn't it? Shit. Oh, no.
It follows. From now on, it follows. We're just going to make that decision.
Yeah, well, I got Heads, so it's Follows. So,
Okay.
yeah, fuck it.
All
It
right.
Follows, which I don't think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but it's not particularly expensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
$2.99
it's
on
DVD,
Amazon
yeah.
Video right now. So
It's really, really good. I really, really like it, and it's got a lot of it's definitely it'll give us plenty to talk about, just because it's got a lot of really good themes. So yeah, so
Okay.
that is your homework for next time.
And
Right on.
like looking to sort of a little bit further down the road, I think, Chris, you were saying something about potentially talking about Dead Rising 1.
I did.
If we kind of sow the seeds for that now as well, give people enough time to kind of you can get Dead Rising 1 on Xbox One now digitally.
Yes, it's on PS4.
It's
as
not
well.
backwards compatible yet, which is annoying
No.
because I've got the disc and I just need to pop it in and download it, but apparently it's not there yet. But it is quite readily available on this generation of consoles, and obviously it's still on Xbox One, and I think there's a Wii version, but
It's also a Steam version of it. I have it on PC.
And there you go.
Yep.
It's on basically everything now.
Yeah,
So
finally.
people
It
wanna
took years
either-
to get off that 360 exclusivity. Jesus.
We had the crap Wii version.
Yeah. Oh man, what were they thinking? God, we're gonna remove half the features and just give a bare bones release from the Wii.
Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll dig that up and have a go at it.
Right.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll mess around with it a bit
Ace.
soon.
Yeah,
All right.
I can do
Well, until next time.
it. Yes,
Until next time.
indeed.
Thank
Thanks,
you all for
guys.
listening.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
listen to
It's
my
an evil
rambling.
fucking room.
it's an evil fucking room.
Bye.
All right.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Right,
Bye.
guys, I'll be right back. My pizza's here. 1 sec. This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madcus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.